Rockhold going topless. Pat Downey in the green and black. And Downey is already talking to him, trying to get in his head.
You know, Pat Downey is known as the Lizard King, and I love the Lizard King style Rashguard. And this is fun and games to begin with, but I got a feeling this is going to get serious pretty quick.
It absolutely is. Guard pull from Luke Rockhold. Interestingly, something I don't think I've ever seen him do. Looking to wrestle up now on top. Downey strips easily. Downey, of course, with the more typical wrestling credentials, NCAA Division I All-American, the Iowa State Cyclones. But, of course, by contrast, Luke Rockhold, the former UFC and Strikeforce middleweight world champion with that huge 22-6 pro mixed martial arts record.
You know what he wants?
Look at this.
You know, talking about how high level Luke Rockhold's grappling is, I mean, Craig has said it over and over about how Luke can tap him in training. Not many people can say that, you know? This is Craig Jones we're talking about, one of the best grapplers in the world. And if Luke can tap him, that means he can probably tap most people.
Well, Downey looking to go to work on this body lock here and try and walk his way around the guard, trying to staple that leg as well. Rockhold again trying to come up potentially on that head and arm guillotine.
Good job. You know what he wants.
Pat getting into his body lock.
Yeah, and of course this body lock so much more powerful when the opponent's sitting up slightly off the mat. But Rockhold back to his feet here in this collar tie. Throw by from Downey, and he's in on the legs now.
That's a factor right there. That's exactly what we experienced when we were training on the mats yesterday, about how it's impossible to use the ramp like you would a cage and stick yourself up against it.
Well, let's talk about the power of Downey just driving that shoulder.
But also the effortlessness of the way that he just brought those legs away, and Rockhold just slid all the way back down.
Downey with a top position here. Rockhold trying to work his guard. That head going to be lifted up off the mat here. And Downey, a lot of forward pressure. Again, trying to clasp his hands together for that body lock.
Get away.
Luke extending at the hips, trying to push Downey away, break the grip. Nothing going. Downey all over him from the top position right now.
Using the ramp and really killing the opportunities for Rockhold from bottom.
Yeah, it's interesting to see if Rockhold maybe tries to turn away, get his back down to the mat a bit more. He's got kind of a cross butterfly guard here. And he's trying to work that overhook, but this is so much top pressure. You know, and as we've spoken about before, it's very hard to wall walk up a 45-degree angled surface. It's not like a cage. You see that head of Downey straight under the chin of Luke Rockhold, pinning him back to that surface.
It's true. It's not like a cage. You can't use it to stand up. Like Rockhold, his instincts, his UFC career, his MMA career, his instincts, against the cage, you can just shoulder walk your way up back to your feet. You can't do that here in the alley.
You see, he kicked off, tried to make space for that stand-up.
Didn't happen.
I mean, it needs explosion, right? That's the only way you're getting out of here is a big bit of explosion. He tries to build his height up to one hip. Downey's going to suck him back out again with the body lock.
He's going to step over into the mount, guys.
Wow. He was nearly mounted there for a second. It was Luke's hand on the inside of the knee that basically saved him. But he's not in a good spot right here.
Yeah, this is good. A slow progression from Pat Downey. Still a minute and a half to work here. Good regard from Rockhold, though. Gets that single hook back inside. Let's see if he can build some base once more.
Double overhooks, trying to elevate Downey.
Wow.
And he's going to come up on a scramble here in that wizard, potentially. Downey steps over the leg. Oh, and Rockhold not able to get over the top of him.
Get away from the edge. Let's go.
Rockhold
pointing at him, but he's allowing himself to get backed up here.
Be careful of the wall. He can use the wall in his favor.
Stay there. Come in the middle.
So,
hold on. You're on the top of the wall. There's no top of the wall.
Okay, so just a clarification here. You
cannot use
the top of the wall. You can touch it briefly, but they're going to remove your hand, but you cannot place a hand on that top apron and use it for leverage. So they're going to reset back in the middle of the mat here.
Okay, so it wasn't that the corner was the problem. It was
no, it's that his hand was up on the apron. But shuck to the back from Downey, and again he sucks the hips of Rockhold out against this alley surface.
You don't want his leg between your legs. Go.
Just under a minute left, and it's one-way traffic at the moment, guys.
Rockhold has got a 30-pound weight advantage, but you would not know it so far. Oh.
Watch out.
That's a decent squeeze.
Yeah, but he's allowing the hips to go to the opposite side of the head, which is going to nullify that.
Side control for Pat Downey here. Hasn't managed to free his head from the grip yet. Well, now he does. He pops out, and this is a good pass.
Hey, Pat Downey got a good front headlock game. He's a serious front headlocker.
He's a lifelong wrestler. You better have one, right? But
so closing seconds here, and again, the head right under the chin.
Look at the way that Rockhold, he can't circle out. There's no way to circle out of that corner. You get jammed in there, it is not a good spot to be.
Guys, that's a 10-8 round for Downey.
It certainly could be. We're going to see in a second how that was scored by the judges, but lots of celebrities in attendance tonight, and of course there certainly will be tomorrow. Mighty Mouse Demetrius Johnson, the ONE FC and former UFC flyweight champion, in the house today. Along Demetrius Johnson, of course, spending a lot of time in grappling competitions. And as of late, 209, Nick Diaz and Jake Shields in the house there. Great to have all these high-level fighters enjoying combat sports and the growth of jiu-jitsu here at the Craig Jones Invitational. And those are the scores for the first 5 minutes. Everybody going the way of Pat Downey. Just 110-8 on the card, though, guys.
Yeah, and it was J-Flow.
Throwing J-Flow into the bus there, Brandon. But you know what? Let's talk a little bit about the jiu-jitsu. I got to say, I'm so impressed. You know, this is not just a crossover wrestler coming into the alley here. Pat Downey, he's definitely done his homework. I think the work that he's been doing is obviously paying off, because he looks like a seasoned grappler in there, and he's barely had any grappling matches at all.
Yeah, it was a very smart performance in that first round, being very patient as well, looking to move forward. Tying up on the feet here, though, and Rockhold looks for a trip, throw off that whizzer, and again, Downey's going to scramble to the back, drive him against the surface, and it's a quick takedown
to the ground
for Pat Downey.
And Luke really emphasizing reaching over and trying to take head control as his primary tool to get back to his feet or to try to recover his guard, rather than framing or swimming around towards his own underhook. He's really trying to dominate the head, and that's just exposing Pat.
Downey goes to the shoulder, looks to move to the back here.
Yikes.
Exposing opportunity for Pat to take position on him here.
Yeah,
Pat's not throwing hooks in, though.
Rockhold. Well, I think he's just going to wear his weight on him for a bit, make him carry it for longer, and of course we're going to see how the corner of this mat surface
I mean, the wrestling instincts as well, you know, you're trained to ride your opponent in these positions. You're not necessarily trained to throw in hooks like a jiu-jitsu guy is.
Right, 20 years of wrestling.
It's a hard habit to break.
Patterns don't just go away, right? So
yeah.
Downey looking to progress on top here, and he might be moving to mount. It's tough to see what's happening with that left leg.
He's cleared the knees. He needs to connect his hips a little bit
body
better.
control, looking to move the side control, and he gets re-guarded. It was a good connection and a good attempt by Downey, but
Pat Downey just eating him alive right now.
Yeah, you know what? I think this is the youth. This is the athleticism. This is the hunger. You've got a retired UFC champion who's doing this for fun, and you've got Pat Downey who's coming out with the opportunity to win $1 million. I mean, he said that he's never had an incentive like this.
I mean, look, the age difference is about 7 years, 39 years old for Luke Rockhold, 32 for Pat Downey. But, you know, Luke Rockhold was taking this very seriously. He put in an extremely dedicated camp to find his way here.
But the thing is, I'm going to say it again, Downey, I think the mentality is going to be such a factor here. He said as well he's confident. He said he's more confident in his preparation for this than he was for his Olympic trials. That's saying something.
Well, a wry smile from Luke Rockhold as he's talking to Downey here, but we're through the halfway point of the bout as a whole, and Luke Rockhold not able to get much going apart from regarding over and over again. It's just relentless forward pressure, albeit at a slow pace from Pat Downey.
I mean, Pat Downey just looks like he wants it more. I know that's like kind of cliche. Maybe that's a little cornball to say, but Pat Downey looks like he wants it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's mentality, right, coming into this one.
And look at that. See, the way that Luke tried to scoot his hips back, hit the bottom of that ramp, couldn't go anywhere, and he's stuck in the same position. Even though Downey disengaged, you might think that was an opportunity for Rockhold to get back up to his feet. It is not that easy with this arena that we're
they can't stop here.
He's not even interested.
Yeah, they can't stop here for too long.
Restart on the feet.
The referee's going to restart them on the feet here.
I think that's a good call.
Well, let's see if Luke Rockhold looks to pull guard again, or if he's got to try and go to some form of counter wrestling. But you've got to figure against the former NCAA Division I All-American, that's a hard task here.
You know, I'm going to say it as well. I feel another factor is the fact that Rockhold, okay, maybe he did a camp, but the thing is, he's a retired MMA fighter. He's a former champion. And he's not going to be in the gym every single day grinding like somebody like Downey. And I think that the cardio, as we get deeper into this potential 15-minute match, is going to be a big factor, and we're already starting to see it. Luke's getting a bit sloppy in his stance.
Downey smiling at him now as they lock horns once more with the head position.
And let's be honest, Rockhold's been out with Craig. He's been traveling with Craig. You're hanging out with Craig Jones. He's not a good influence. It's gonna affect your gas. I don't know what those guys get up to. I don't want to know, but it can't be good for when you're getting ready for a match like this.
You know, interestingly, Luke Rockhold did actually win No-Gi Worlds as a purple belt all the way back in 2007. Good takedown from Downey there, driving through. Luke Rockhold again trying to get on the head in defense. But Downey sucks that leg out, and he's got top position once more.
Choke, Luke has a very good triangle choke.
Yeah, let's see how this plays out. They're in the middle of the open surface this time, so no wall to contend with for Rockhold. But only 15 seconds left on the clock here.
I'm going to say that as we come into the dying seconds of this round, it's my opinion, that's a very, very clear win for Downey, and potentially another 10-8.
Yeah, well, let's see as the scores come in. We get a live view, which is great, and they're 10-9s and one more 10-8 on the board. So this is still very heavily going the way of Pat Downey, and Luke Rockhold, guys. He's going to have to pull out all the stops in round number 3.
He's got to win by submission.
It's 2 rounds to 1 for Downey. There is no other way. I mean, it doesn't matter what kind of point difference we might see after that 3rd and final round. It's too big. Like you said, Brandon, the only way to win for Rockhold is submission.
And I don't know if Luke cares enough to come out here and push to win by submission.
Well, that's such an interesting point.
And I got to think about his technical decision-making that he's making when he is on the bottom, too. He's attacking the head, like, try to wrap the head, like he's going to use it to walk up the cage. And that is just not an available technique for him right here.
Downey talking again to his corner, talking to Craig Jones. Matt side as well here at the alley. We're underway for our 3rd 5-minute period. The scores 2018, 2016, and 2018 in favor of Pat Downey. So Luke Rockhold's either got to pull out a miraculous 10-7 or get the submission here. But you got to figure on balance, guys, it's got to be nice for them to know that, right? They have a pretty clear indication of what do I have to do to progress here through this next round.
For Pat Downey, it's pretty clear. His game plan has been working perfectly. Everything he's done so far, he's never really been in trouble. He just needs to keep doing more of the same, not take any unnecessary risks in the pursuit of victory. It's basically in the bag. He just keeps going, and he's got this.
And Brandon, do you think that the problem is if Luke Rockhold pushes forward here, he's going to open himself up to some counters?
Well, he's going to open himself up to end up on the bottom position if he makes a mistake. But he has to open up. He has to. But it seems like he favors gripping at the head so much, like trying to snap into a front headlock, a guillotine, maybe run into a Darce sequence, that he's almost like foregoing any other opportunities.
Oh, big pickup from Downey.
And Downey just stares him down. Rockhold reaches back for his back.
Well, Rockhold has been having a lot of back issues over time, and he was actually at the UFC PI just in this last week getting some therapy on that lower back, and dumped again by Pat Downey. 2 big takedowns.
Oh, Pat Downey's putting together a highlight reel on Luke Rockhold here.
Yeah, he's really putting the screws to him verbally and physically right now. Downey looking to engage once more. Big power double with the head in the chest, forces him back into the pit wall, rips that leg out.
Again.
Right in front of Mighty Mouse and Kyle Bahasha.
Keep him down. No, he's not. Get off the top. You're good. Keep going. Keep the position or go.
Now he's not happy with that. He thinks that he feels like Luke is kind of fleeing the area a little bit.
Oh, he jumps up onto the finish squeeze from Pat Downey, looking for the rear naked choke.
That was on. That was so close.
I love the opportunism from Pat Downey trying to get the finish here, and that's what we want to see. That's what the crowd came to see.
Man, how about Pat Downey being a big stage player right here?
He's a big personality, but he's going to show that he is just as big when it comes to the action. Putting it together here at CJI. And I got to say, I always had Downey as a bit of a dark horse in this lineup. And my opinion is just getting stronger and stronger as we go.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Downey, right, is you never know if he's going to blow himself up necessarily. His fight IQ today, though, so far, absolutely on point. Big throw by, looking to go to the hips.
Luke just consistently, willingly choosing the guard position, which is funny after all the trash he talked about the guard yesterday, how if you did that, he said famously, jiu-jitsu has lost its way, that there's nothing more pathetic than pulling guard.
It makes you wonder if that was all part of the plan.
Hey, look at this chest wrap, though. This is an opportunity for Rockhold to get back up, which he does.
Heavy breaths from the former UFC champion. Goes down to one knee here.
Downey just running him over. Another 10-8. I mean, this is definitely a 10-8. This could be a 10-7 this time.
Well, I think due to the lack of multiple close submission attempts, I think 10-8 is possibly more likely, but...
He picked him up and threw him in the air twice.
Let's go, Pat. One more day now.
Well, minute and 25 seconds left for Luke Rockhold to try and stay in this event.
No striking. Let's go.
Rockhold having a little bit of fun. That landed.
It started as a bit of fun, and then it was getting a little bit serious.
You want me to take points? Don't mess around. Ready? Turn around. Stop. Ready?
We only got 73 seconds left. Let's keep
Warning
it clean.
them not to take points, or if you want to mess around, he's going to take a point.
I really don't want to see a DQ at this point.
Well, you know, it's funny. Luke gets to the spot where he knows he can't win.
Right.
And he starts getting playful. But Pat Downey came out here and made a big statement.
He's not playing.
I don't want to say he embarrassed Luke Rockhold, but let's be honest.
He kind of did.
He ran him completely over out here.
So, breath from Downey now. He's going to get plenty of time to recover after this. 40 seconds left, and barring some insane turn of events from Luke Rockhold, Pat Downey's going to move on to face Adam Bradley. But Rockhold with this overhook here, trying to walk into Downey. Joking that he's going to jump a triangle, I think.
Downey very much on the back foot, though. You know, this is so different to what we saw earlier. I think he knows he's got it right. He doesn't need to risk too much. Wow.
Shoving him around all over.
So physical.
Yeah, just letting him walk into the grip again. Final 10 seconds. Attempted Harai from Rockhold. They're just pushing each other around now. And this one is going to go to the scorecards with a very clear decision for Pat Downey.
I think Downey actually tried to throw him out of the alley.
He definitely did. He tried to go full Tank Abbott on that one.
There's quite a few guys who could actually do it as well.
That is so convincing a win for Downey. I'm so impressed, but not only with his skills, but with his mat IQ and his discipline is sticking to the game plan and not getting drawn into Rockhold's theatrics.
I mean, it's certainly going to make a lot of other people in this bracket sit up and take notice now moving into the matches later on today. And of course, should he make it through into the semi-finals tomorrow? Scores have come in for us, and as you may have guessed, it is going to be across the board fairly decisively.
30-27,
30-25, and a 30-26.
A total blowout.
Let's go ahead and get the hand of Pat Downey raised. That was an absolutely fantastic performance.
After 3 rounds of actions, we go to the judges' scorecard. Judge number 1 scores at 30-27. Judge 2, 30-25. And judge number 3 scores at 30-26, all in favor of the red corner. Moving on to the quarterfinals, Pat Downey.
Yeah, nobody, I don't like to spoil decisions before they're officially announced, but that's one of the matches where it was so obvious who won, we didn't give anything away.
Pat Downey victorious here. He's going to take a bow, and I imagine some very colorful words coming up here with Alex Wedman.
Very interesting.
Pat Downey, you got it done against Luke Rockhold. There was a moment there I got to ask about when he was going to tap in Mighty Mouse. Were you genuinely frustrated at any point when he was fooling around a little bit?
I'm like, you know, cut the fucking semantics. I'm the one winning. You would have thought he was whipping my ass. I don't know. Some people like losing.
At one point, it was really a wrestling clinic that you put on there. Another time you had a wrestling clinic was when you finished a match in 10 seconds against a guy named Gordon Ryan. And that's what got you into jiu-jitsu. So do you have a special message for Gordon Ryan?
Oh, to my butt scooter out there, I know you're in Vegas. I know you're watching your nemesis, Craig, take out your ADCC show. So if I got a message to you, let's let Gordon know. I want everybody on the count of 3 to tell Gordon Ryan, everybody say, fuck Gordon Ryan. 1, 2, 3, fuck Gordon Ryan.
What a statement. Go ahead and cross off Luke Rockhold's name from that over 80-kilogram division bracket.
Oh man, Pat Downey is a character, and he's going to take much pleasure in crossing Luke Rockhold's name off of that bracket indeed.